Hi everyone, just before we get into the main part of the video, I wanted to address the situation that was brought up in the last upgrade when they announced their price increases. There was a lot of activity and noise around the fact that they were going to stop putting the magazine in the box and it was going to be available digitally instead. Upcrate have listened, and obviously more people than just me have been complaining about it because they have reversed that decision. So although the prices of the box unfortunately are still going to go up, which is inevitable in the economy at the moment, they will be including a copy of the magazine in German for Germany, Austria and Switzerland, and the rest of the world will be receiving a magazine in English. So they're actually going to print 2 magazines. Now, how they've kind of circumnavigated this cost is that they are printing it on much thinner paper, so therefore it will be lighter, which affects the shipping cost. But not only that, they've done their best to try and not pass that price increase on top of what they've already added. So unfortunately for you guys in Canada and the States, you will be having €1 added on to your box cost, but that lets you keep your magazine. For the rest of us everywhere else, we are not paying any extra over and above the increases that they've already added. So bravo, I would just like to give a round of applause to Upcrate for listening and paying attention and actively doing something about it really quickly. I think that deserves a tip of the hat if I had a hat on, and I hope that you guys will be as pleased about that as I am, because for me, having a paper copy of the magazine, it's part of the experience of having these subscription boxes, and it's one of those things that gets us away from this digital age, even if it's only for 10 minutes to read about other artists. So I personally am very pleased and, okay, a bit chuffed, a bit smug maybe. I thought that was very important information to pass on to you guys. So let's get to top down view and we can get going. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Colour Cave, where we like to play with art stuff. My name is Jem, and today I have an unboxing for the Upcrate art subscription box. This is the monthly subscription box from Germany. So today we're going to take a look at the contents and put the supplies through their paces, and that will be followed in a week or so by a video that tackles the prompt that comes in the box, and we use the supplies to make an artwork to fit the prompt. I'm quite enjoying these new boxes from Upcrate. They're a bit fancier. A bit fancy. Okay, ooh. There's an eraser. I was really hoping there wasn't going to be pencils in this box because I've got a sore elbow and pencils, it's hard work. But anyway, let's take a look at what is in here. So first of all, here is our bottle post. This is the magazine that comes in the box that gives you information on all the products and gives you lots of inspiration and help as well. There's quite a few tutorials in these magazines now and lots of hints and tips from various artists that are more of a regular feature in the magazine now as well, which is nice. I'm really enjoying this cover as well. Welcome to Fabulous Artsy City. Yeah, really like this. So we'll check that out in just a minute. Here is our featured artist, Camo Jeda Art, there we go, is the featured artist, which is known as the co-captain in this particular box. And this is Ball Crescent in Whitby, Ontario, Canada, I'm thinking, O-N. Okay, this is interesting. So this is obviously a map of a cul-de-sac or a residential street. Cameron Ojeda, okay, so that makes more sense. Camo Jada. Right, okay, got there. Self-taught freelance artist from Ontario in Canada. There we go. So I was right. Doesn't happen very often. Oh, look how detailed these maps are. Oh, wow. Oh, this is cool. This could be an interesting box. So that is our featured artist. We shall see more about that in a minute. We've also got our Upcrate stickers here, and it's a selection of words. So this kind of fits in with this ransom note style collage here. It's always more funny if there's dirty words in there, but obviously Upcrate aren't going to do that. We can make our own, it'll be fine. Okay, so I always like to take a look at the drawing surface or painting surface that comes in the box, and we have the ArtSpace pad here. ArtSpace is part of Upcrate as far as I'm aware, and this is a sketch pad for all dry media. So there's 20 A5 sheets, 180 GSM, so kind of standard for sketch paper. You also get 2 sheets of tracing paper as well. pH neutral, acid free, age resistant. So those two things kind of go hand in hand. Acid free means that over time the paper doesn't yellow, which obviously helps preserve any artwork that you've done. We've also got an eraser here. We've got a Factus eraser. We've had a Factus eraser before, and I remember these being quite good and quite liking that. So yeah, that's good. Happy with that. We've also got, we seem to be getting rulers from everywhere just now. A rumpled 15cm ruler, and this is the Upcrate edition. Some of you might remember me talking in the Artful unboxing. I'll link that in the description and in the end card if you haven't watched that video. They gave us a ruler and the measurement was really odd. Normally here in the UK, and I'm pretty sure it's the same for a lot of Europe, you get a 15cm ruler, which is this one here, or you get a 30cm ruler. And the other one was like 20, which was a bit odd. You can tell this is European though, because there are no inches on this one. It's only centimetres, which I find quite interesting. Being in the UK, we're in this weird position where we kind of like half use the metric system and half use the imperial system, just because we're, you know, we're a bit of a mishmash. So things like, you know, measurements for, say you're getting carpets or something done in your house, it's usually in centimetres or millimetres. But yet when we talk about our height and our weight, we talk about stones and pounds, and we talk about feet and inches. So we're all screwed up here. And also all our signposts are in miles, not in kilometres. It's totally weird. Anyway, moving on. A little leaflet here for Freddy's Flowers as well, if you like that sort of thing. A little bit of money off. This feels rather light in supplies this time. I'm going to make a prediction. There's going to be a graphite pencil and there's going to be a black fine liner in here. Just saying. I really like the colour of this paper. It matches my hair just now. Oh, surprise. Oh my goodness. Surprise, surprise. I was absolutely 100% right. Okay. So our pencil is a 2H, it's a Rolo 2H, which is a Viking pencil. Fairly good pencils, had these before. 2H, quite a hard tip so that we can get some really fine and clean lines, especially if we're talking about map making, so that's pretty handy. And we've got a selection of Pigma Microns here. I use these all the time. I've probably got a lot of these. If I do, I'm just going to put these straight into the stash shop so they're new and unused. So let's see what we've got. Let's start with the black ones. We have... Oh, yes, yes, yes. We have a Pigma Micron 003. Now, the numbers on these pens do not denote the nib size. They have their own numbering system. So a 003 is a 0.15 millimeter line width. These are tiny and these are my favourite fine liners ever. You have to be super careful with these. You can't be heavy handed because you will push the nib into the barrel because they're so tiny. Would you look at that? I just, come on autofocus, I know that's hard work. It is so small, but you can get the most beautiful, delicate lines. I'm really glad they've included one of these because I use the 003s all the time. They also do a 005, which is a bit more robust if you're a wee bit heavier handed, but you'll still get nice, delicate lines with it. So we've got a 03 in black as well, which is a 0.35 millimeter line width, so substantially thicker. You can actually see the end of that nib, that's nice. So it looks like we're going to have good variation in our strokes here. So we've got two in light grey as well. We have a 005 that I was just talking about. So that's a 0.2 millimeter, yeah, a 0.2 millimeter line width. And we also have a 01, which is a 0.25 millimeter line width. God, it's just as well I know all this, isn't it? So there you go there. I'm like a Pigma Micron nib geek. And we've got a darker grey as well. Oh, so they've given us a 005. So we have two 005s. We have one in light grey and one in dark grey. But they've also given us a brush as well. These are quite nice too. I find that these dry out fairly quickly though. That's just my experience with them. But the brush nibs on these are lovely and they're a really nice, delicate nib. It's not like this great big chunky brush that you're going to be like all over the paper. A very simple box, I have to say, but I kind of like simple boxes sometimes. So yeah, we've got a nice selection of Pigma Microns and we've got a pencil and an eraser as well as this ruler. So it looks like we're going to be doing something very linear, shall we say. So let's take a quick squiggle through the bottle post and see what is what. Oh, I just love this. This makes me happy. I do not have the patience to ink stuff like this. And plus as well, I'm not very good at architecture because I like swishy squiggly lines, but this is why this impresses me. Oh, I'm excited already. From above. So a little introduction here, a little update there, which we've already talked about. And here are our art supplies. So, light, cool, grey, 005 and 01. Oh, so they're taking them individually. The Pigma Microns come in a huge range of nib sizes, but this is them starting to expand out their colours as well, which is really good. And just, as I say, the brush tip especially, I'm really quite happy about it. These are archival. I do find that you have to let the ink dry for a little while on the paper if you're going to use wet media over the top of it, but they're pretty water resistant. I've got stuff that I've drawn like 4 years ago that's been hanging on a wall and it's not faded at all, so I can attest to that. My only criticism of the Pigma Microns is that they're perhaps not as stable and they don't seem to last as long as the Unipin fine liners, which is the other brand that I like to use, but I like the range of nib sizes with the Pigma Micron, which is why I jump between the two. Oh, here's our little ruler. It is pretty funky, you know, it's got this little design on it, I like it, and it's pretty lightweight as well. Technical ruler with millimetre graduations, 15 centimetres long, pure aluminium, which is why it's light as well. Dirt repellent, hard surface, is less sensitive to scratches and dents. Well, that's good to know too. I like that. Okay, the soft eraser. I'm sure we've had one of these before. Almost sure we've had this exact same eraser. It's pretty squishy. You can, like, even in the packaging, it's like, yum, yum, yum. Extra soft plastic eraser, all types of paper. Its improved absorption power on graphite and charcoal makes it ideal for use on shading and will substitute an advantage kneadable erasers by cleaning it deeper. See, to be honest, we don't need a hugely fancy, I don't know if there's such a thing as a fancy eraser, because we've only got a 2H pencil to erase. We're not going to be doing a lot of shading with it. Well, we might, but you know, it's not like we're going to be doing like real big fancy sketches. So we don't actually need this, but I like that they've included this type of eraser because I really like these. Here we have the Viking Rolo pencil. What can I say? Shameless plug, you can get this sticker at the Stash Shop. Check out the address below. You can buy this on its own now. You don't need to buy it in a pack if you just want an It's a Pencil sticker. As I said, a 2H is quite a hard tip on it, so that gives you nice clean lines, good drafting pencil, and I think from what's coming it's probably just as well. The sketch pad. With the additional 2 sheets of tracing paper, you can easily transfer the proportions of maps or your own drawings onto this sketch paper. So if you've doodled about elsewhere, you can... all good. So here is our co-captain. So there's a little bit about him here. His drawings are mainly detailed aerial view maps of cities. That's so cool, but oh my god, that would be painful. Oh, so they've asked him some questions and shown more of his art. Look at this, like roundabouts and everything. Good grief. Oh, I like this one. This is very cool. Very, very cool. I like this quite rigid style of almost technical drawing. It appeals to me very much. So, co-captain tips. 4 special tips about using the material. When drawing a little map, don't focus too much on getting perfect scale. Just try to get the general feel of the area. Start by outlining the larger key aspects of the map, such as the roads and then the buildings. All the other little details you can put in later. Add textures to everything, because that improves the aesthetic of the map, absolutely. Reference online maps and satellite images. The best way to get accurate maps is to find a good reference and use it to recreate on your page. Google Earth has most of the planet covered with good and pretty up-to-date images that can help you. You can even use Google Maps or another map online on a tablet to trace the roads for perfect scale. Okay. So here he is, the QR code for the how-to video and how he created the artwork that came in the box. I love these. I think this is great. This is a lovely aside. Art hacks with Graphite Pencil. This box is about 3-dimensional drawings, which is a very important topic. What makes flat 2D line work so unique is that we can create the illusion of the 3rd dimension just with a few more lines. So there's a few hints and tips here on 3D and also perspective drawing as well down the bottom here, so this is nice. And another, oh, this is the how-to video in German. Well, that's nice. I would still watch it in German and put the subtitles on. My German's okay. I probably wouldn't understand all of it, but I'd give it a bash. And here's a little room that she's done. I did a painting like that years ago. I quite like doing this kind of thing, but I have to say I found it hard work. Interestingly though, I still have this ISO sketch that I haven't tried, and something like this is really helpful for stuff like this. Obviously we won't use it for the battle prompt, but it's good to know. Okay, the Sailor of the Month, Despina, and she was born in Greece, and her hair's the same colour as mine. So she's got her Instagram handle here, and it's mostly oh look, oh, I know who this is. Mostly portraits by the looks of things. Her work's lovely. I'll definitely go and check that out on Instagram. Topic corner, Matt and his cat. My name is Matthew Wright and I'm a pen and paper architectural illustrator based in the UK. So this dude does the same kind of stuff as the co-captain, and he has a big black moggy as well to help him out. So a little bit about him and some of his art. Oh, wow, look at this. Zoom in a little bit. That is stunning. That is absolutely stunning. Really, really nice. Like that a lot. So there's a little interview with Matt here and some of his work as well as his Instagram. Definitely going to follow this dude. I love, look at the detail in that. Good grief. And it's something a bit more fantasy themed here as well. This is lovely. Okay, a step by step by Matt. Oh God. Okay. I think we'll call the step by step. We'll use that term loosely, shall we? But yeah, so he's taken you through the process here of how he's created this drawing, which is lovely and well seen. This is an English city or town of some description, very characteristic of English houses. Well, all with the Pigma Microns, of course. Oh, we've got a bit of a blank page here. I don't know whether there was supposed to be extra print here or no, because that looks like the edge of the image there. It's a bit of a waste of space, but that's okay. This is really nice. I love his stuff. Okay, and here is Emily. And again, she's a regular in the magazine now, and she's got some of her artwork, and you see her sort of going through the supplies and she does this little wheel. I really like this, and I find this really helpful if I'm struggling for inspiration for the prompt. This is a really nice way to kind of get a feel for your supplies before you actually go into trying to think of something to draw, just so that you're a bit more comfortable and a bit more familiar with them. I look at her little map, that's super duper cute. Little tips for everyone. So this is Melissa, and she's a Brazilian architect. Oh, I love how they've pulled in all these people. So she's obviously drawn a lot of buildings as well. And there's a wee bit about her as well. They've asked her a few questions here. There's the Leaning Tower of Pisa, which is nice. And she has given us details here on how to do a bird's eye map. So that's a top-down view. This is so pretty. Oh, wow, this is a lot of work. This is a lot of work. Oh, my God. Lots of help in this magazine. So the Upcrate battle for number 31 was Miraculous Creatures. And you can see the winners here. I actually really like this one down here. This makes me happy. This is really cool though. I think this one's my favourite. This was the third place one. Come Together was the Upcrate battle for 32. So this was one with the 4 sheets of paper as well. And these are some of the entries. I quite enjoyed playing about with edding markers, but they're really not my thing. I just had fun messing about with them. But some of these are really creative. This is lovely. I like this one very much. Very much. And also this one down here, there's a nice aesthetic to this with the black background. Inspiration area. So these are artists that do the same kind of artwork as the featured artists. I already follow this person. Their designs are very... they've got a lot of character to them, even though most of them are architecturally based, architecturally illustrated. Oh, that's hard work. I really like this as well, though. This is nice. So yeah, I think there's a lot for me to follow here. So that's a really nice magazine this time, and we're going to flip over now and find out what the Upcrate battle is. And unsurprisingly, it's worldwide map. Show us your place to be. So they're giving you the chance to win the full set of Rumold rulers, which is interesting. I don't know what I'd do with a set of all these rulers, but yeah, that's nice. I'm really glad that the theme is fitting in with the rest of the magazine, because sometimes they've been thrown as a bit of a curveball, and it's been slightly confusing. So we're going to get geared up to do some map stuff, which I think will be really interesting. And as I said, I'll be doing that in a separate video. So I'm going to tidy up here now, and we're going to test out these supplies and show you what they can do. Okay, so... oh, the paper's quite textured. It is sketchbook paper though, so I'm kind of expecting that. It feels pretty good quality. Yeah, I'm fairly impressed with that. Tracing paper. We're missing tracing paper. Okay, no tracing paper. I'm just making sure it's not. Sometimes they put it in the middle. No, I have no tracing paper. Oh, Upcrate. I've just taken that out of the cellophane, so it's not actually in. It's not in with the pad and it's not in the box. So, okay, we've been promised 2 sheets of tracing paper, but there's no tracing paper. Oh no. Righty ho ho, in the like minute and a half that it's taken me to tidy up this desk and move everything out the way, I've already decided what I'm going to do for the Upcrate battle, so that's good news for me, not too much thinking involved, just a bit of planning needing done. But enough of that just now, we'll talk about that in the next video. We want to test out the supplies. So for me just now, we've got a very simple set of supplies, and this for me is going to be how these pens actually lay down on this paper, and also how the erasability is of our lines, because we're going to, you know, when we're doing our draft or our bottom layer sketch, we're going to have to be very specific and make sure everything's absolutely right before we go anywhere near these liners. So I'm going to show you how these behave on the paper, and I want to start with the lightest colours here. So let's go for the 005. I'm gonna have to zoom right in or else you're not gonna see anything here. So let's start with that, and let's just write that there. Oh, that's really pale. Can you even see that, you guys? So the line width obviously is very, very small. It's very narrow, and not the kind of pen you would be using to fill in areas of any description, but you can get some really nice you know, some really nice hatching effects, and you can get that down to, you know, a minute detail. And these pens are great for this. The ink flow on them is really good. So if you hatch quickly, you know, if you're quite adept at it, you can keep going and the pen's not going to skip or anything like that. So there is the 005, it's so dinky. And here is the 01. So you can see the ink colour consistency is indeed consistent. Well done, Gem, that was smooth. And the line width is noticeably thicker, and it appears that the line's actually darker on the paper. It's not, it's just because it's fatter, that's all. And we'll try out our greys now. So again, we've got another 005. So technically, this should be exactly the same in terms of line width as the first one that we tried. And you can see here that the ink is noticeably darker, because I do tend to find with these things, if companies bring out pens with colours that are quite close together, sometimes there's a sort of negligible difference between them. But these ones here, you can see that the difference is very noticeable, which is exactly what we want. And here is the brush. So I'm just going to put B for brush. Oh, B for brush. Oh, I do love a good brush. So this would be good for filling in slightly larger areas. And obviously, depending on the amount of pressure that you put on, will give you varying line widths. But also how quickly you move it as well will give you different types of strokes. If I take my time and draw a line there, you can get quite a solid, consistent line. Whereas if I go quickly, you get that nice brush effect. So if you're wanting to give your map a bit more character, this is ideal to make it just that little bit more unique and a little bit less uniform. The one thing I will say, this is noticeably darker, and it's just the saturation of the ink in the paper because of the way it comes out of the nib. Okay, so on to the black ones now. The 003, my absolute favourite. Absolute favourite. And this is a delight for me because I love weeny weeny fine liners. I love weeny weeny paintbrushes. But you do have to go very, very gently with this, or else you might hurt it. So just be aware of that if you're using this. But look at how delicate this hatching can be and how close together you can get these lines. And they still look really clean. I honestly, I just absolutely love these pens, I really do. And here is the 03. So that's a bit more of a chunky monkey in terms of what we've just been dealing with. And again, better for filling in areas. So like some of the rooftops on the featured artists' work, that kind of thing would be good for filling in there. Absolutely perfecto. Lovely, lovely selection of pens here. Oh, I just wanted to point out as well, I have switched out the ones of these that I own. I've switched them out with my previously procured ones. So a selection of those microns will be in the stash shop for you to purchase if you so desire. Anyway, on to our 2H pencil. As you can see here, we can get very, very crisp lines. There's nothing smudgy about them, and that's what H pencils are designed for. Now, because it's a 2H, it is at the lower end of the scale of hardness, so we will be able to do a little bit of shading with this, but not a huge amount. I think the idea is that most of the work will come from the ink rather than the pencil, but it's nice to have that option, and it's an option that I quite often employ just because I prefer to work in pencil, so it's good to have that as well. So now what I want to do is I'm just going to put this on its side, and I'm just going to cover a little bit of the paper. Now that's to show you first of all the texture of the paper, so you can see the texture coming through underneath the pencil here. And it's pretty textured paper, but as I said, it is sketching paper, so that's to be expected. There's been no feathering and no issues at all with these pens going down in this paper, which can be an issue, especially with the slightly more heavy flow pens. Sometimes you get a tiny little bit of bleed, but there's absolutely none of that, which I'm really, really pleased about. Okay, so I'm just going to darken down this top part. So you can see the degree of shading that we're able to get as well, which is nice. You know, we are able to darken things down a little bit. So we've got a wee bit of room for play and manoeuvre there. Factus eraser. Time to show us what you can do. See if I can get into that. Oh, I give it. Yes. Oh, so nice. Oh, it feels so good. I'm just going to turn this way slightly so it's easier on my elbow. And I'm just going to cut a line straight through there. Rub-a-dub-dub. And let's see what this can do. Now I can feel that bending under my hand, which I would expect, and you can see the shavings are coming off fairly clean, so it's easy for you to clean up your mess, and it is taking away quite a big chunk of the corner. With it being a soft eraser, you have to expect this. The softer the item, the quicker you're going to go through it. Same applies to coloured pencils. Prismacolor, I'm looking at you. So you know, this is very much a consumable. If it becomes your favourite eraser, you're going to go through one of these fairly quickly. But as you can see, it's taken away the light pencil, no problem at all. And even up to probably the darkest part, you're getting rid of most of what's there. I mean, I can kind of like chug away a little bit here and keep going. And even at the darkest part where I was leaning really heavily, that's taken most of that away. So that's an excellent sign. I'm really, really pleased with that. And finally, I just want to test out our ruler. Now, the interesting thing about this is obviously we can use this with our pencil. I'm not expecting any miracles or disasters here. It's a ruler. Do I need to do an "it's a ruler" sticker? Wow, there's a thought. But yeah, it's quite nice to use. It's got a slight bevel here, which you can just see, which is nice for you to put your fingers on to steady it, rather than having a completely flat ruler. And you can see we've got nice consistent lines there. Now, interestingly, with the Pigma Microns is what I'm more concerned about. Most technical fine liners do have a metal casing around the nib, and it's so that you can rest it against a ruler. However, let's try with the 03, because that's the, yeah, let's try the 03, because that's the biggest one we've got. You don't want the actual nib part resting against the metal of the ruler, because that will ruin your nib so fast. So I just want to see what sort of angle I'm going to have to put this at so that the metal is leaning against metal and not the nib against metal. And it's the nib that's touching. It's the nib that's touching. So you're going to have to go in a slightly outward angle there. Oh, okay. So we're going to have to be super careful with this. Oh, okay. And I would be very concerned about using the 003 because that nib is super, super delicate. Because it's super delicate though, the actual metal ferrule is resting against the ruler. So with the smaller nibs, we're actually in a better position to not ruin our nibs because the metal casing is protecting the nib by leaning against the ruler. So there you go. But look how nice those lines are. They're so sweet. Okay, yeah, guess what, guys? The ruler works. I never thought I'd say that in a video. Okay, so there we go. Overall, I'd say I actually really like these simple boxes, and I know people are going to complain that, oh, they've paid X amount of money for a box of fine liners, but you've got to look at this as the entire experience. These supplies naturally go super well together. Everything works really well. The pencil's nice, the eraser's great, the ruler's pretty funky, and we've got a really interesting prompt to work with, and for a lot of people, this is going to be something that they wouldn't normally think about or wouldn't normally do, so it's nice to go outside your comfort zone, and for me that's what these boxes are all about. So I personally am very pleased with this box. I'm really pleased as well that our bottle post is going to be staying with us as well, because there's so much information in there and it's a really nice rest for your eyeballs if you sit in front of a screen all day like me. So overall, I am super happy. I'm even happier that I know what I'm going to do for the Upcrate battle, so you can keep your eye out for that in a week or so. That is it for today, guys. As always, I would like to hear your thoughts on the box. Let me know what you think about the bottle post situation, and if you have any preferences or ideas for a prompt as well, I would love to hear what you've done or what you are doing. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Always appreciate you coming to hang out with me. So until the next video, please stay safe, take care of each other, and bye-bye for now.